Hi ECLAC. I wanted to make you guys a video on how to reverse an invoice. I didn't really have time to generate a entire document on how to do this, so I figured a short video would be pretty quick to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through reversing the invoice, and what we can see is that we can regenerate the invoice and you can test to make sure that you're having the issue. So I think what, as we know, what's happened is that we've got in production, if we look at our production contract for Banco de Chile, we still have the issue where it's only printing the $100,000 amount. And I don't think this has gone through in production. And I think we're still seeing this issue showing up on our real estate invoices, which are a custom form. So what I would recommend that you do is to reverse this invoice and regenerate it. And if you're still having an issue, which I expect that you will be, to then go ahead and raise an I need ticket. So right now I was just print previewing your invoice with Banco de Chile, and I see that it's in the amount of 50,340 CLP, and we actually know that it's a much higher amount than that. If we were to look at the conditions and I click on the document, I see that it's actually for 5 million CLP. So we know clearly that something's wrong. And you say that, or it sounds like that perhaps this has been fixed. So I'm going to show you the method in which you can go through and go ahead and test that. So I'm going to go to another environment and I'm going to reverse it, show you how to reverse and regenerate the contract. So first of all, we need to get our invoice number. So for you in production, it's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to reverse our invoice number here, this 048. That's the number that we want to reverse. So we have a method that I'm going to show you in a non-production environment. So we have this contract which has already been posted, and we're actually testing to make sure that it was working. In our non-production environments, it only does the incorrect posting for CLP, which is very interesting. So this is in Chilean pesos, $10 million. But if we preview the invoice, we still have the same issue. So I'm going to go ahead and preview this invoice again, and it's 100,000. I'm still saying this because I think you guys need to reverse your invoice in production and regenerate it, and just to check and see if what happens there. So anyway, I'm going to take this invoice number, copy it to my clipboard, and I'm going to then go ahead and reverse the invoice. There's no issues with reversing invoices. You can always reverse them and reprint them. It's not like reversing a posting or anything. It's just a document that we're reversing. So I go to flexible real estate and accounting, and then invoices, and then I'm going to reverse my invoices. And we've got a couple selection criteria here. You can do it by the contract number, but you know what? I feel that we should just use the invoice number, which is the most exact thing. You can also do it by invoicing run, but again, we have the invoice number, and we're going to say that's for 2015, and that's going to be it. So now we're going to execute this, and we should be able to reverse our invoice. So now we can go ahead and select this, and we can click. So now I've done that, and now I can select the line, by clicking the little gray checkbox over here, or selection box, and I can go ahead and I can reverse my invoice. Ask me if I really want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And there we go. This invoice has been reversed. So now if I go and I check the contract that's for 319, the 319 contract again, I should see that it's reversed. Okay, so now I'm back in my contract. I'm going to refresh my screen here. And there we go. We can see that it shifted from a regular invoice to a reversed invoice. So that's what you're going to want to do in production. So you're going to want to come over here into production, and you're going to want to reverse your invoice first. You're also going to then want to sort of validate that it's not working correct. So let's regenerate the invoice. And again, so we're going to go to the same place basically. We're going to go to accounting, flexible real estate, accounting again, and then invoices. I know you mentioned you were curious who could do this, and I should mention it's only those within the senior finance user role. I remember last week when we met, somebody else had to actually generate the invoice. So you're going to need to make sure that you get a senior finance user, I think both to reverse the invoice and to recreate the invoice so that you can check it. So we're going to set the due date here to 1/1/2015 through 31 December 2015. And we're going to simulate our invoice. Uh-oh, I don't have anything there. Oh, because it's 31 January 2015. So I'm going to simulate it, set it up for 1 January 2015 through 31 December 2015. I've got my contract number plugged in here, so this should be your Banco de Chile contract number. I've got the due dates in which I want to do, in which I want to collect for, and you can just make this for the entire calendar year and it should go ahead and pull everything out. We're set in simulation mode right now, so I'm going to go ahead and execute the invoice. I can say, yep, okay, there's my amount. I can preview it, and I still see that instead of having 10 million Chilean pesos, I have 100,000. At this point, what I would recommend doing is printing a copy of your simulated invoice and then using that to create your new I need ticket. I think that's about it. This is much faster than creating a document, so hopefully you guys don't have any additional questions, but if you do, feel free to reach out. Thanks.